Hi, my name is Nick, and this tooltip is on creating an electrical plan. Creating an electrical plan in Envisioneer is easy to do, as you're going to use the model you've already created and then add in your lights, switches, outlets, and wiring paths. Then in your worksheet you will use the View Filter option to isolate the desired elements you want to show. As you can see, I've already created a floor plan and I've added in some interior lights, some wiring paths, some switches, and some outlets. To show you how to do this, I'm going to add in a couple of lights on the exterior of my model and then drop in some wiring paths from a switch. To do this, I'm going to first add in my exterior lights. I'm going to select the Landscape tab, and under the Landscape tab I'm going to select Exterior Lighting. Under Exterior Lighting I'm going to select my exterior wall light, and I'm going to drop in two lights on either side of my door. I'm then going to right click and select Finish. Under the Interiors tab, I'm going to add in a switch. So I'm going to select my electrical option, and then from my catalog on the right hand side, I'm going to select the single switch plate. I'm going to place that up against the wall right here. Now I want to show the path for my wires. So I'm going to go back into my interiors, and then under the electrical drop down, I'm going to select wiring. From here I can select my first point from my switch, and I'm going to drop it in so that it meets that light. I'm then going to carry that light wire over to the second light on the other side of my door, and I'm going to place that in. Once I've selected those 2 points, I can right click and select Finish. These light paths or wire paths can actually be edited, so I can adjust how they're going to look to create a more curved look to the light path. I'm going to select the edge of the light path from the switch, and I'm going to adjust it so that it also has a bit of a curve to it as well. And this just allows you to give it a little bit more of a defined look, so it doesn't look something like a wall or a element itself. Once you have those positioned in, we're just going to zoom out and we're going to go up to our floor plan. And on our floor plan sheet, we're going to insert a smart view for our floor plan. And here I'm going to go in and select the Smart Views option, and I'm going to select Define Smart View. And once I select Define Smart View, I can now go through and start to isolate exactly what it is I want to see. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to adjust your view filter. And under our view filter, this is what controls what's going to be inserted in that smart view. And in some cases you're not going to want to see some of the elements depending on what type of smart view you're adding in. In our case, we're adding in an electrical plan. So I don't need to see all of the interior furniture that's associated with that file. So I'm going to go in and I'm just going to close the eye beside interior furniture. I may want to see where the plumbing fixtures are. I may also want to see where some of the electronics are. So I'm going to leave those elements on. On my Elements on Terrain tab, I don't need to see the terrain, so I'm going to turn that off. And on Notation, I don't need to see the dimensions, so I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to go back to Elements on Location, and I'm going to say OK. And as you can see, that cleans up our model pretty good for us. So now we're seeing just the actual wiring plan. We're seeing the lights, the switches, and the outlets. You can also control the scale. So if you want this to be a bit smaller or a bit bigger, you can adjust the scale here. I'm going to leave this at 1/4 inch. I'm going to make sure that it's a drawing, and I'm going to click Insert. And attached to my cursor is that floor plan, and I can drop that into my working drawing sheet. And if I zoom in on my model, I can now see the wiring that is now in a dashed line format for me, going from my switches to my lights. I can see my switches and my outlets in my design. We hope this tooltip helps you moving forward. If you like what we're creating, be sure to subscribe for future videos. If you have comments, please let us know below. Thank you.